we are looking at growth, scaling, and impact. And when it comes to business, when it comes to running an organization, this is a topic that I have really been interested in the last 10 years or so. Like, I mean, when I say interested in terms of studying, researching, reading, improving, and I've done a lot of consulting work in this area. And if you are a serious entrepreneur, if you are a serious professional, if you are a serious leader, there is one thing that is always or should always be at the back of your mind is how can I grow? How can I scale? How can I create more impact through this business or in the industry where you are, or even in the nation or in the continent where you are? And you see, one thing about the human mind, one thing about the human spirit, and I'm sure you know that as a human being, you are spirit, soul, and body. So you have a human spirit. So one thing about the human mind and the human spirit is that when you push it, when you challenge it, when you ask it questions, you can begin to tap into more potentials to see how to do more in life, right? So, like for example, I think about just uh, um, 5 to 6 days ago, I was teaching in another conference exactly about scaling and growing a business. And I live by a principle of trying to always improve what I'm going to deliver, even though it is almost the same kind of topic, basically. And just basically asking yourself, how can I improve this delivery next time? The moment you do that, you see, your mind is designed to create. Your mind is designed to grow and to expand. And if you don't begin to do things or to challenge it, it's not going to do that, right? So if you genuinely have a growth oriented mindset and you're a true builder or you are really an entrepreneur, you are always constantly thinking in terms of how can I scale this business? How can I grow this business? How can I expand this particular business to produce more results in terms of what I want to do, right? And I'm going to go straight to the point. Based on the things I have done, you see, running a business, helping people to build their own businesses, and at the same time, facing challenges and difficulties, I've started a couple of businesses that they did not grow at all and they failed, right? If you've been in business, that's a normal, that's part of life. And the difference between entrepreneurs and leaders is that they know how to make good use of their previous failures. They use it as research, as a learning lab to build something better, right? So at this level, in terms of what I call achieving medium growth, achieving medium scaling, achieving, you know, not the kind of scaling in terms of scaling at the level of Facebook, uh, uh, um, Tesla, Microsoft, big companies, Dangote. I'm talking about, just scaling from where you are in terms of running a startup or a small business into experiencing medium growth. And when I talk about medium growth, personally for me, it is something where you begin to make on a consistent basis between 10 million and above to 100 million, right? That's in terms of France CFA, that's medium growth. All right. And that's something that as a serious business owner, you should be able to be thinking at that level. There are core pillars that if you have in your business, you're going to scale that business. It is, I can say it is guaranteed. If you know what you're doing as a business owner, there are core pillars that if your idea stands on and you execute these pillars or these principles properly, you are going to scale that business and experience serious growth and impact at the same time. right? And I'm going to go through this. And like I always like to say, I cannot take 45 minutes and teach you how to grow a business, but I can take 45 minutes and point you into the right direction that if you pursue that direction, you will be able to know what to do and build a thriving, growing business. And that is what I'm going to do today. So I want to share with you 10 pillars or 10 principles that I would like to challenge you based on the business you are building, based on the idea that you have as a wannabe entrepreneur. Begin to look at how can I make sure that my business is standing on these core pillars or principles so that I can be sure that this business has a future. What I'm also saying is that if these pillars are not evident in your business, there is a high chance that that business will not last more than 3 years. A very high chance. Why? Because there is also the possibility that everything you're doing is from the place of guesswork and assumption. And you see, you never build anything great, you never build anything magnificent through guesswork. It takes a lot of intentionality and strategy to do that. And that's why going through programs like this is important for you as a builder in business. So, what are these core pillars? Some are going to sound familiar, and maybe some you're going to hear for the first time. But I want you to document this as a metric you're going to use. You're going to put these pillars maybe on your left, put your business on the right, and begin to ask yourself serious question. How is this pillar applicable in my business? That is what I want us to achieve today. Okay, I want to grow this business. I want to scale this business. I want to impact my nation, my continent, my industry. Okay, you now understand that, look, for this business to scale, to grow, and for me to be a person of impact, these pillars at the current level of my life must be present in my business. That is how you should think as you go through this particular program. And I'm sure that these are recorded and they will share back in your community. Go through again because you don't listen to a teaching like this once and expect to get it. Many a times, for a human mind and a human spirit to catch or to grasp something the right way, you need to listen at least 7 times. Yeah. You cannot read a book once and say you got it. To get it right, you may need to read a book at least 5 times for the human mind to begin to see the revelations and the insights in a particular book. People that read a book just once or go through a program like this just once, they never get the best out of it because your brain needs some repetition to access revelation. Okay? All right. So, number one core pillar that you need to be thinking about is, are you solving a painful problem? Solve a painful problem. If you are not solving a painful problem, there is a high chance that your business may not grow. The only reason that people buy things is to solve a problem. If they are bored, it's a problem, and they want entertainment, is a solution to that boredom, right? And many people in who want to go into business or who are in business, many people still don't understand that growth literally begins when your business solves a problem that people urgently want to remove. See, if your business is addressing a problem that anytime somebody is facing that problem, they want to urgently get rid of that problem, I guarantee you have found a gold mine as a business. So for those of you that already run a business, what is the urgent, painful problem you are solving that people face that anytime that problem arises, they want to remove that problem out of their lives urgently? Can you clearly be able to describe it? If not, you have to go back to the drawing board. You have to go back to the drawing board and find it. Because every industry has that problem. I'm telling you, every industry has that particular problem. You cannot talk about growth and scaling because, listen, you cannot go and borrow money and invest in something you don't guarantee the future of that thing. And one of the things that guarantees the future of a business that will grow is that that business is solving a painful problem that people want to remove from their lives. And you can find it. You can find it. So think about that. Think about that pillar. Pillar number two is make sure you have chosen a profitable niche. Make sure you have chosen a profitable niche. Right. Now, this is very important. Let me give you an example. And years ago, at the time, public speaking was just becoming popular in Cameroon, right? When I started speaking in 2010s and 11 and 9, it was not as popular as the way it is right now. And when I started speaking as a very, very young man at the time, I was talking a lot on purpose discovery, vision, time management, career things and things like that. And then jump from 2011, 12 to about 2018, 19, even 17 and all of that. I noticed the proliferation of many young people desiring to be speakers. The industry became louder in Cameroon. It became more prominent in Cameroon. And thank God that I had always studied business. So I said, you know what? The way this is going, I cannot continue doing this. So I decided to stop accepting speaking invitations in terms of speaking around things like purpose, because there were younger guys who could do that. There were new guys in the speaking industry because those things are very simple to talk about, right? And I started rebranding myself to focus a lot more on corporate training, strategy. I began to pick more difficult things to focus on. Things that if you don't study for years, you cannot master it. There are some topics in life that if you don't study for years, you cannot get it. And you will never build the competence to go and teach. But you see, you can go read somebody's book and come and teach purpose. You can do that. There are some things in business you cannot read somebody's post or somebody's books and go and teach. You're going to mess up. Even your words are going to prove that this is not his field. And funny enough, my first ever 1 million francs to be paid to speak came from leaving those things to begin to handle these other things. And that is how I found a profitable niche in speaking. What am I saying? In the industry where you are, there is a profitable niche that you need to find because you cannot grow a business that is not profitable. Because in business, you see, in business, scaling becomes easier when you serve a specific market with the money to pay, with the pain they want to solve, and with the urgency to solve that problem. That is what makes a profitable niche. Do they have the money to pay for your solution? Number two, do they have the problem or the pain? Number three, do they desire to solve this problem quickly? You see, I'm trying to have a conversation, right? And that's why I don't have a PowerPoint presentation. I want to talk to you like, from experience and from what I literally live every day, right? So look at your business right now, begin to look at in terms of, and you can do other things around your business, but you know that there is a profitable focus that you have. There is a profitable niche that you have. You see, let's say, for example, when you think of, let's say, Apple company or Facebook company, they have areas that makes the most money, and they have other areas that they manage. It's like a restaurant. I mean, every restaurant has a main dish that gives them the highest amount of money. That is their profitable niche per se. And you must have yours, right? You need to find yours. What is that niche? What is that area? What is that target market that they have the money, they have the problem, and they want to get rid of that problem quickly? Find it. Then you can begin to grow that business. Okay. Number 3, what is the third pillar that you need to make sure that you assess your business on if that business is going to grow is build what we call in business an irresistible offer. An irresistible offer. An offer that somebody cannot resist. What is an offer? In simple terms, an offer is the value that you present to a potential buyer that makes them to buy. That is an offer. Right. Let me give you an example of an offer. Many people don't have offers. Many people just have products. But what will make your business to grow is an offer, is an irresistible offer. So I want to think of a basic example of an offer, because an offer is not just what you sell. No, an offer is the total value proposition that makes buying from you easy. It makes buying from you easy. It's a whole package that you arrange and you present. Let me give an example. I think Neba was talking about the agricultural equipment that he wants to start renting. Instead of just selling, he wants to start renting. He can create an offer beyond that equipment. He can say, you know what? When you rent an equipment from us, before you use that equipment on your farm, an expert will leave our company, come and review your farm and give you recommendations on how to use the equipment. And that review is free. Now, that is an offer. He's not just renting an equipment, but he has packaged that equipment with some value added to it. That's an offer. And that's why there are some products that they look. There are some products that the price is always different. It is because of the offer. Maybe other farmers, other institutions, agri-tech startups, maybe they rent a particular equipment for 100,000 francs for 8 hours. And all they do is the equipment. But Neba can decide and build an offer around the same equipment, and the price is 150,000 francs. And the offer includes, number 1, we are going to be the ones who will carry the equipment from our office to your farm and back. Number 2, before you start using the equipment, an expert will review your farm and provide free expert recommendations on what to do with your farm. So when Neba is presenting the renting of that equipment, he's not presenting just an equipment. He's presenting the total value proposition that will make the farmer to be more excited to buy from Neba. Do you see that? So you need to build an irresistible offer around your products. Work on it. It takes a lot of commitment. You don't build an offer that somebody cannot resist without sitting down to think through the process. Let me give you some tips that I follow. When you want to build an offer that somebody cannot resist, anytime you present it, they want to buy from you. Sit down based on your target customer, map out the exact dream outcome your ideal customer wants to achieve. See, every human being buying from you, they have a dream outcome. Let's say when I'm building a training program, like when I was preparing, uh, um, you know, what I'm going to deliver for you guys, I had to sit down, I had to say, okay, if somebody goes through this program, this session for 1 hour, what is the dream outcome that they would like to achieve? That's how you build something that somebody cannot resist. You try to empathize. You put yourself in their shoes and try to map out what is the exact dream outcome that this ideal customer wants to achieve. When you build your offer from that perspective, you are going to have an offer that when you begin to market it, when you begin to drive a sales conversation, they cannot resist that offer. The second tip in building an offer is learn to identify possible obstacles and fear that can make a customer not to buy. What are the possible obstacles and fear that can affect them? When you list them out, your job is to reduce those obstacles or to eliminate those obstacles. So look at what you are selling as a service or a product. Ask yourself, is this product resistible or not? If not, work on it and make it an irresistible offer for your customers. Is this helping somebody? Type 100% in the chat box. If not, type 1%. Is this helping you? Type 100%. If not, type 1% in the chat box. But you see, these are things that you need to think about. Business needs your brain. Okay? Business needs your brain at all times. Number 4, the fourth pillar to set your business upon if that business will grow and expand is master what we call in business your core lead engines. Master your core lead engines. Now, let me explain. What is a lead? A lead is a customer who has developed some interest in what you're selling. So, a core lead engine is basically a predictable, repeatable process that will continually introduce your business or your value to complete strangers. That's a lead engine. What is that process you have established that as long as you execute that process, you are always consistently introducing your business or your value to total strangers. Listen to me. You have no business that will ever grow if you don't have a system around your business where your business on a daily basis is constantly discovered by strangers. So you must have a lead engine that handles that for you. Because a business that will go far constantly have a pipeline of potential customers. There are always people dropping into the sales department, dropping into your inbox for inquiries. That pipeline is always full. You run a business and a day can go by and nobody's asking questions or nobody's indicating interest, there's something wrong with your business. It can never grow. Your lead engines play a big role in the growth of your business. It could be social media, it could be physical event, whatever you can decide. And for people that, one thing I've seen is that people who run small businesses or startups, they want to do what big companies do. No. My advice when it comes to lead engines is focus before diversification. What does that mean? Master one lead engine channel before attempting to try a second one. For somebody, it could be just, you can make up your mind. You're going to master how to use TikTok as your lead engine. You master it well. For small businesses, focus on one, then you can diversify to others. So you identify the single channel where your target clients spend the most time, and you focus on mastering that channel to get more clients. In other words, let me ask all of you a question. Based on what you are selling, as far as social media or the internet is concerned, where do your target customers spend the highest amount of time? That should be a number one lead engine. And let me say it again. There is no business on the surface of the earth that can scale without a reliable process, a reliable system for attracting total strangers to become qualified prospects who can end up paying customers. If you don't have it, forget about growth. And that leads me to number 5, which is master the conversion. If you attract leads into your business and you don't know how to convert those leads into paying customers, you will never grow. So when you establish a viable, productive lead, call lead engines, go a step further and focus on pillar number 5. Do I have a good system in place to convert these leads into paying customers? If you have been in business for a while, or if you have studied business for a while, you will notice that businesses that have a system where strangers become leads and leads become buyers and buyers become repeat customers, those are the companies that go far in life, that grow. Right? Show me any business where they have a strong system where strangers become leads and leads become buyers and buyers become repeat customers. Why is Apple one of the most valuable companies in the world? I think as of yesterday, they were more than $5 trillion. Apple is bigger than Cameroon tens and tens of times. A company is bigger than a nation many times. One thing that Apple is good at is they're always after one major thing. The day you buy for them for the first time, their job is to make sure every year you buy from them. Their job is to make sure you go from a one-time buyer into a repeat yearly purchasing customer. So you have to master that conversion. See, this is the heart of growing a business. If you're going to create significant impact, significant growth and result in your business, I'm challenging you, master conversion. Spend time and study and learn and become exceptionally good at learning how to attract strangers into your business, convert them into leads, convert those leads into buyers and those buyers into repeat regular buying customers. That business will grow. That business will grow. Because that is the heart of revenue growth. Because marketing and generating leads is totally useless if you and your team, if you have a team, if you and your team cannot know how to convert those leads into first-time buyers, and from first-time buyers, you convert them into repeat regular buyers. So you must master conversion. Study it. Understand your business. Understand the psychology of your customers. And then tap into it. It will be a blessing to your business. Number 6, what is the seed pillar that should be in your business if you, as an entrepreneur, are going to grow and scale a business? Deliver exceptional results. I did not say be perfect. I said, make up your mind that on a consistent basis, your job is to deliver exceptional results. There is no perfect business in the world. Even the most valuable company in the world, they are not perfect. That's why they have customer service departments for customers to call and complain. Every great company, go and read, every great company in the world has a customer service department for customers to call and complain. So there is no perfect business. So we are not talking about perfection here. We are talking about you as a founder, you as a business executive. You make up your mind. My job is that on a daily basis, I will deliver exceptional results to my clients. See, this is important in scaling a business. Why? Because a scalable business must produce outcomes that customers can see. They can feel the outcomes. They can measure it. And they can even recommend it. That is your job. And a business that cannot do that cannot scale. If customers cannot see your outcomes, they cannot feel it. If they cannot measure it, and if they cannot recommend it, trust me, that business has no future. And you achieve that by making the decision, my job is to, on a daily basis, deliver exceptional results as far as my business is concerned. In other words, learn to optimize your product delivery or service delivery. What is your product experience? What is your service experience? And let me give you a cheat code. If you're going to consistently deliver exceptional results, learn to develop standard operating procedures around what you do. Learn to document delivery workflows so that quality can remain the same, even if your business is growing. So for example, I have a process I have documented, I go through in developing the content I present in any situation. That's why there's a high chance that you will never find me deliver a low-level content. Because when you have procedures around important things that you do, either you always have the same quality or you always have a higher quality. That's why for those who have traveled across different countries and you eat across global food chains like McDonald's, Wendy's, and all of that, right? You find them, let's say, you find them in South Africa, in Rwanda, in the United States, in Canada, in the UK, in Dubai, When you go to these countries where they have offices, guess what? When you eat a burger, when you eat chicken, it tastes almost the same. It is the documenting of workflows that anybody can follow the step by step process in that document and produce the same kind of results. As a business owner, you don't wait to do this when you are big. You start now where you are. Why? Because it also gives you the opportunity to improve the workflow with time. And when it comes to delivering exceptional results, there's something in business known as friction. Your job is to remove friction as much as possible. Remove steps that causes delays. Remove complexity and difficulty. Look at what is the process that a customer needs to go through to consume your service or your product. What is the process? Your job is to make sure that the process that your customers go through to consume your value is very easy. If it is full of delays, complexity, difficulty, you need to work on that process. That delivery process is not exceptional. I was reading. I hope it's a true story, but I think it's true. But I was reading somewhere on the internet about Elon Musk with his electric cars, and he asked one of his executives, um, how many steps is required to order a Domino pizza. The pizza is like a fast food, right? And they told him, and I think they told him 3 steps or so. And to order an electric car online at the time was like 28 different steps. And Elon Musk said, I want that so when somebody wants to get an electric car, I want the process to be as easy as ordering a pizza from Domino. That is a founder thinking on how to deliver exceptional results. He wanted to remove steps that causes delays, complexities, things like that. You see, that's why if you are serious with your business, one thing you must have done is map out the customer journey. In other words, what is the journey of your customer from the moment they pay you money? What is the journey from that process till when they get the value they paid for? Study that journey. If it is not quick, seamless, easy, with a good experience, work on that. The moment somebody pays you for a service, what is the journey they go through to get the value they paid for? Your job is to make sure it is exceptional. If not, forget about growing that business. People are going to leave. You are not going to experience repeat regular customers buying from you because they will find somewhere else where they can get that experience. Pillar number 7. I need to be faster than this. Pillar number 7. Pillar number 7 is one of my favorite things to do in business because I just think that it brings so much money to any business that does this right. Pillar number 7 is maximize lifetime value and retention. Maximize lifetime value and retention. In the business world, we call it LTV, right? Now, lifetime value basically means structuring your business model in a way that clients can stay longer. The longer customers stay with your business, and if they buy more frequently, They're going to make more money. Check any business that is at a global scale. Check. There is something in their business model that makes clients to stay longer. You see that? There is something in their process that makes clients to stay longer with them and pay frequently. That is why, like in developed countries, the business model of people buying things and paying every month is a big business because companies prefer that than for you to buy your phone and pay all at once. They prefer that you get the phone and pay 5,000 francs every month. They prefer that because the longer you stay with them, the more addicted you are to them. And the more it becomes difficult for you to transfer to another company. And the more they upsell to you, there's something in business known as upselling, cross-selling, and all of that. Right? So if your business is going to grow, in simple terms, find ways to make sure that people that buy from you can stay with you longer and they can buy more frequently. If there is anybody here who studies, you try to calculate your customer acquisition cost. There is something in business known as customer acquisition cost. If you're somebody who calculates that in your business, you will notice that acquiring new customers is the most expensive activity in business. Yes. Acquiring new customers is the most expensive thing to do in business. That is why the most profitable, fast growing companies, when they acquire one customer, they do everything they can do in their power to make sure that that customer stays longer with them and buys more frequently from them. And research has proven that companies that generate more revenue from existing customers, those companies grow faster. They scale faster. Why? Because it is cheaper and it is more profitable to cause an already existing customer to buy from you. So what are you doing in your business to influence customers to stay longer with your business and to buy from you on a consistent basis? What are you doing? You need to find it. Create a system to achieve that. Because the more you retain them, the more money you can make from them at a lower cost. Because you don't need to do advertisement again. At best, you can do one follow-up call, one text message, one email, and it is cheaper than getting a new customer. So maybe you can start thinking of, what they call continuity or recurring revenue, where you can implement a subscription fee, a retainer fee, right? So that there is a system that they keep paying you on a monthly basis, or they can pay you for a service for the whole year, a non-refundable fee for the whole year, and they return you for the whole year. But you need to find what can work depending on the kind of product that you are selling. It doesn't matter what you're selling. If I sit with you, I'll find something in your business that we can create a structure that will enable you to begin to enjoy maximum lifetime value from your customers. Another way to achieve this is learn how to cross-sell and upsell. Right? Learn how to cross-sell and upsell. For example, Neba, I was talking about renting equipment. Maybe he can create a system where a regular farmer who rents from his business, he can create a system where he upsells to that customer by saying, you know what, I can give you this equipment to pay this amount for 6 months and you own it. But you see, it started from the customer renting that equipment for his or her farm. But through negotiation and customer service, neighbor can upsell to that customer to eventually pay maybe in installments and own the equipment for his farms. You see that? But you're constantly thinking about that. So you cross-sell or you can upsell. Cross-sell means that you sell similar products. You see that? That's very important. You learn how to offer complementary products at the point of purchase so that customers can be influenced to buy. Because when you study business, you will see that real profit in business comes from increasing how much each customer buys from you, how often they buy from you, and how long they stay with you. This is very important. You want to grow a business and make more money. Begin to find ways of increasing how much one customer buys from you, how often they can buy from you, and how long they can stay with you. All right. Number 8, I need to close now. I have another meeting to catch up with. Number 8 is build systems and standard operating procedures. Build systems and standard operating procedures. I always say that you cannot scale confusion. You cannot scale ignorance. You cannot grow confusion. Many people are struggling to move from small business stage because all they have is what is in their head. But you see, if you're going to scale a business, you must begin to build systems around your business. Begin to learn how to convert key business operations into documented, repeatable workflows. Learn to do that. Because you cannot scale a business without a team. I'm going to talk about that. And a team cannot do what you do and produce the same result as you without systems and standard operating procedures. You see that? So you cannot scale confusion. You cannot scale ignorance. If you are going to scale a business, you must be able to achieve repeatable performance. And the backbone of repeatable performance is systems and operating procedures. Let me give you all an assignment. Based on what you do on a weekly basis as a business owner, right? Study your week, then audit your week. List all recurring operational tasks that you perform personally on a weekly basis. Just do that. Just audit your entire week and list all recurring operational tasks that you perform personally. If what you do requires a laptop, like me, for example, what I do, everything I do must include a laptop, right? So what I do is that when I'm doing something that I do on a daily basis, on a consistent basis, what do? I press record screen and I begin to do that task. So I record a short screen video, like a walkthrough, while completing that particular task. Guess what? That becomes a system. That becomes a standard operating procedure. And while I'm recording, I'm explaining what I'm doing, and I save it in a folder, and I name it. So tomorrow, I hire somebody. They can watch what I do, and they can do the same thing and produce the same kind of result or even a higher kind of result. Maybe yours doesn't require a computer. You can write it with your hand. You can type it, but document it. What is the step-by-step system you go through to achieve this particular result? Number 9, recruit train, and empower A players. Recruit, train, and empower A players, top players. Listen to me. We are talking about growing and scaling a business and making impact. If you stay a one-man show and you recruit just your friends and family members, you will never grow that business up. That's why when you start making money in business, one of the first areas to invest is a team. Don't jump into changing your car and having a better living standard. Recruit, train, and empower top players to join you. Learn how to build a high-performing team. It is a whole teaching I have on that. Learn how to hire talented individuals. Learn how to train them thoroughly with what you do. Learn how to hold them. Be a strong leader. Be a bold leader. Be a leader who can hold them accountable to clear outcomes. This is your job, and you're supposed to achieve this and this and this by the end of the week or by the end of the month. Be a leader who is bold enough to hold them accountable to very clear outcomes. Number 10, scale assets. Scale assets. And I want to talk about two major assets: scale equipment and cash. If you're going to scale a business, grow a business, number one, scale the equipment that you use and make sure you know how to find money, know how to find capital to expand your operations. Every business has core equipment that are critical for your value creation. Let's say, for example, me, you see, the kind of mic I have, the kind of camera I have, the kind of computers I have, there are things that I don't, when they start doing a little complaint, I buy new ones. Because they cannot be affected, they cannot have issues. Right? Because the equipment plays a critical role in how I create value and market that value and make money. So if you're going to scale and grow your business, scale fixed assets and cash assets. Okay? What are the equipments that affects your value creation? Make sure they are good. In terms of capital or running capital that can help you create more value, know how to find that money. Because you cannot truly scale without understanding how to have the right equipment and the right running capital. Because these two things are important in helping you to exponentially multiply your capacity to create and deliver more value. You must learn how to do that. So learn to strategically acquire and optimize your core assets that can enable you as a business to produce more value, to serve more customers, to generate higher profits. Learn how to do that. There are certain assets that as long as you have them, you will increase your capacity and your efficiency. And these two things are important in growing and building a business. Everybody on this call, you're either at the startup stage or at the small business stage. To grow into the medium stage of your business. If I was talking to people that are already making, let's say, 100 million and above, and they want to, there are other key pillars to talk about. But as far as you are concerned, if you want to see more money come into that business and grow that business, begin to, after today, sit with your business. Take a retreat with yourself on your business. Get a board, get a sheet, get papers, sit with your notebook, whatever you have. Put your business on one side, put these things on another side, and begin to wear yourself out. See where you're missing, see where you're doing well, see what you need to stop doing and improve, and you can change the face of your business for good. All right, that is it for today. And I believe that you learned something and you will blessed. All right.